time, Emmanuel and I met was in the early 80s.
Emma is a very good friend of mine. We know each other when Emma was coming to visit my cousin, Augustine.
I think our friendship probably began late 90s.
This is a story of friendship, and it begins with a question. What would your friends say about you if you are not there? This documentary film is only an extract from the biography of a man whose exemplary life has been and should remain an inspiration to others. He surely is a great man, but that is not where it all started. Yes, Mr. Emmanuel Ewanfoh is a man I'm privileged to have as my eldest brother and a worthy father to our entire family. That is not strictly the reason behind this project, but because of his humanity, selfless service, and contribution to the people around him. Those are some of the values we must not forget. In his biography, coming at a later date, you will hear him explain his life experiences from his humble beginning to his success story today. But for this video, we are going to feature 3 of his childhood friends who will help us understand the value of their friendship and how far they have come all the way.
My name is Luke. As you know, I'm from Uromi, in Edo State, Nigeria. I had the opportunity to migrate to the United States in 2002. Since then, I have been here by the grace of God. I have a family of 5, my wife and my 3 beautiful children.
My name is Patroni Osedebame Elebisunu. I am from Amedosha, Uromi. I attended the KK Primary School. From there, I proceeded to Agba Grammar School, and I ended up in St. John Bosco College, Ubiaja, where I obtained my WAEC result. And from there, I went to Edo State University, Ekpuma, where I equally obtained my BSc in accounting. I worked in Lagos for some time before I proceeded to Europe in 2002. Presently now, I am in UK, United Kingdom.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Godwin Itula. I'm from Ikeke, Amedosha, Uromi, Eastern Land of Edo State, Nigeria.
This is interesting. These 3 gentlemen are all speaking from 3 different countries out of the African continent, and they all equally have high regard for their friend, Mr. Emmanuel Ewanfoh. This simple human being who grew up from a humble beginning to a great man in Uromi today. But I have my own curiosity. Of course, my job is to ask people questions. How did their friendship actually start? I mean, all 3 of them. And if you are as curious as I am, you will want to know that too.
I remember vividly when I met a man, when our friendship began. Of course, I'm from Amedosha, and so I've always known him all my life. We were not friends from the beginning because we did not attend the same primary school together. We are not from the very immediate village. Like you likely know, in Amedosha we have about 9 villages. And I'm from Ikeke, and Emmanuel from Iduwu. It's the name of a village also in Amedosha. So, and Amedosha being a very large community, we have 2 primary schools. In my area, we have Ikeke Primary School, which I attended, and Emmanuel attended Amedosha Primary School. So I went to Agba Grammar School, my secondary school. Emmanuel went to Amedosha Secondary School. So we never really attended the same school together. Obviously, I see him. We have cultural dance and all kind of activity going on in our community. Everybody know each other.
The first time, Emmanuel and I met was in the early 80s. No, actually in the 70s. Then, they happened to come to Unewa. As you know, those days, there was lack of water and things like that. So they came from all the way from Amedoshan to Unewa to get some water. That was when for the first time we met until I started, coming home. So, I grew up in Unewa with my grandmother. So I did not come home. I did not come to Amedoshan until I became an adult, which was 18 years old. I came home in the year 1986, I believe.
Emma is a very good friend of mine. We know each other when Emma was coming to visit my cousin Augustine, and both of us we were just friends, greeting each other till on a very particular day when Emma lost his grandmother on the day of the wakekeeping. He already arranged for the music to use, I think. So that very day when we were about to sleep late, he ran into our house to my door and just knocked and asked for a favor that he needed a tape for the wakekeeping. And then I had a very big tape. So I gave it to him. Emma took it out and went home with the tape to do the grandmother burial ceremony. That is the 7th day. After that very event, it was then our friendship became very tight.
I think our friendship probably began late 90s, so to say. Don't know exactly, I can't remember the right year now. But I knew exactly where our friendship began. It was around what we call Agbo Road, Uromi, New Agbo Road, Uromi. I came with my daddy's pickup, came to drop some stuff to where they were doing a party and the ceremony there. I saw him there, and he was having interaction with me. The way he spoke was so positive. For the very first time, we have this kind of face-to-face conversation. I normally see him with other guys in our community, but this very moment, he was having conversation with me, and the conversation was very positive, was very straightforward, was very honest. But I was skeptical because I wasn't too sure if because we didn't grow up together, we were not all friends. What he was saying was really honest, or he was trying to play a game. But as the conversation proceeded, I realized he's a very truthful and very direct and an honest person. That was how our friendship began, and then we began to visit each other.
It was just a casual, introduction. Then every year during the New Year Festival, I would come home from Onewa to Amedoshan to celebrate. Then Emma and I we meet. So then I started coming home until I finally came into 1986.
Though he was coming to see my cousin Austin, we only just greet her. But after that event, after I gave him that my tape for the grandmother's burial, we now become very tight as good friends. We visiting each other before he finally moved to Uromi town. That almost I was always there. That is where how our friendship started till today.
Life is beautiful, yes, but there is no simple, straightforward way to experience it. By that I mean, if you want to claim your life, you are going to claim every part of it. And perhaps there is no shortcut to a meaningful and good life. In making preparation for this video, I needed to refresh my head about my family history. So I interviewed some of my eldest brothers and sisters who all confirm what I already know about my eldest brother's uncommon humanity and fatherly role to all of us. I like to reference what one of my eldest brother told me, Brother Ewanfoh, the immediate younger brother to Emma, that when he was to pay for his agreement in his workplace, he could not manage to raise the money. At the time, they both had their yearly farm made to take care of their own financial needs. In response, Brother Iman told him to harvest all the cassava on his farm so he could complete the money for the payment. Now, I want you to think about that for a moment. By this time, Brother Emma has not yet gotten his material wealth, social influence, and popularity in Uromi, but his selfless service and a truly kind personality are already evident. So, how are you living? There is a saying among Asian people, Elimianga, although that might literally be translated to mean we worship the spirits, but the hidden significance can be that we live under the watchful eyes of the universal consciousness. Everyone is watching. You will get back according to what you have planted. So live as if your life were an ultimate service to fulfill a bigger purpose. And guess what? That is probably what life is really about.
In this life we are living, I personally believe the best area you could actually feel the sense of being blessed is when you have your immediate family, maybe your children, your wife, and your parent or your brother, sister. They are healthy. That health, especially if your children are healthy, they are not sick. It's one of the most beautiful things you could have in life. Secondly, if you are lucky to have a friend, a really good friend you can trust, a friend you can depend on, it's probably one of the second biggest blessing you could have in life.
Emma, is somebody, he is such a nice guy. He's someone who always, do the best he can. Even when your dad was alive, Emma, he was always providing. So that time when I came, it was because of Emma that I was able to stay at Amedoshan, to be honest with you. Because, I would call myself a runaway man. In other words, because I did not know anybody at Amedoshan, I grew up at Onewa. So when I left, I was missing the place. So each time I went to school, Obion Secondary School, I would not come back home. From Obion Secondary School, I would go to Onewa because that was where I knew. And Oti Iman started, coming over. When I come home, Iman would come over. He would come over. He never relents. Because of Iman, I was able to stay, and then I stopped going to Onewa.
Yeah, what really sustained the friendship is that we were all together. What happened was that when he was learning work then, because he was in the school, secondary school, but at the time he couldn't continue, so he started learning work, and I was a student, but we were all together. Then immediately I get to the town, especially weekend, because weekend he doesn't go to work.
We had a bike, and every morning, every Sundays, Sunday, we have to go out and things like that because that was the only time we had. And the same machine that Ima and I, were going to use is the same machine that my younger brother Okogun and your brother Igode, which they would target the machine as well. So what I was doing is every Sunday we have to quickly push the machine through Ubalwiba and we'll take it to Emmanuel's room and keep it there, so that Okogun and Igode will not have access to the machine. So on Sunday, after we do the normal thing, then we clean and things like that. We will go out and we'll return in the night.
If there is any party, maybe any of our friends is doing something, anybody is doing something, we make sure we go together, we live together.
What were we doing? What do friends do? Friends visit each other. He comes to my place and I go to his place. And if we have food, if we have whatever the case may be, we have places to go, we go together. We have issues, we discuss it together. That's basically what friendship is all about. So that was how we started it actually. He came to my place, and after a while, I went and visited him in Idu, his village. He was living there at that time.
And there were times too where he was, when he now get, he did finish his apprenticeship where he was learning work. He now opened a shop at that Ubiaja Road. We were always there together. I will come and meet him in the shop. We'll stay together. We'll go out together. We do so many things together.
Another thing that we did together was most of the time, Emma and I, we have to go for a daily job. There was this man, I don't know if you know him, called Akonje. We were always going, because he was hiring us for a daily job. Man and I will go there in the morning. It don't matter whether it's a Saturday or during the day, we will, quickly go there in the morning. Guess how much he was paying us? 5 naira. So we will do the daily job, and we had that money that day, put in our pocket, and we were satisfied for the day. That machine that I talked about earlier, we drive the machine across, the whole of Western land. We'll go to Uzenema, Epoma, we'll go to Ubiaja, Agwanikwosha. When my daughter ruined us, so I didn't want to say that. I'm a recent time. So, to me, we will go and we'll come back late in the evening. So we honestly, he's such a nice guy. He never relents. Or also, he's somebody that you can run to when you are in need. He's always giving, and that he's still doing it today.
That is it. A great man who made way not only for his immediate family members, but also for other people. Because we are now in 2022, I want to believe that some younger people in Uromi or elsewhere who are listening to this video want to know the vision these elder brothers of ours had at the time. What kind of future did they see ahead of them?
Yeah, my vision was to go to school, and him too, he had that great vision. And one of the things that make me to love him is that Emmanuel Ewanfoh is a man with a great faith. He believes everything is possible. When you are with him, he is trying to make you happy always.
We had a lot of vision. One of the vision that we had was that we were going to do everything we can to be able to provide for our families.
You see, before I relocated back to Esa, to Uromi, to join my father in his business, after my secondary school, I went to Benin to join my uncle in his business. My uncle was Uncle Deco. He was a businessman. He has a hotel, and we have beer and all kind of stuff we were doing together. Then when I left Benin, I traveled to Lagos. It was a time I wish I could delete from my memory, but it's part of my history. I would never really have a good time in that few months I stayed in Lagos. Then when I left Lagos, my second senior brother John, came from Ibadan, and we left Lagos together to Ibadan. There, at least it was a little bit comfortable. We have food on our table, and being my senior brother, when not just being a brother, he was also a very good friend of mine.
I was a student. He wasn't a student, but the work he was learning, he will put on all his effort, everything. He always put on all his effort. He have the belief that tomorrow will be better than today.
That moment I was in Ibadan became like one of the best moments to nurture my maturity in a lot of area in my life. Very close to where we were staying in Odife Road in Ibadan, in Agodi Gate, there was one man who set up a church there. They call him Wale Oke. And I think he's a Sword of the Spirit was the name of the church. I normally go there in the evening. Boy, this man was teaching us and was imparting a lot of knowledge into those of us who was listening. I had been one of them, though I was not a Yoruba man, but I pay attention to what the man was teaching. And he is one of those prodigy from Agusha Daosa. And I, being a respecter of Daosa, if I hear any people speak beautiful thing about that man, I get drawn to him. So he was imparting my thinking. He was imparting me in a really positive way. That was the kind of vision, and I was very, very optimistic about my life. I kind of have the feeling that everything was going to be very great for me in future. Even if right there in Ibadan, I didn't even have a job, not to show for it, but because of this smart teachings and the teachings I also learned from Archbishop Dausa before, I kind of have that feeling inside of me that I was going to be a great person. Honestly. So what happened? I eventually left Ibadan and I went to Uromi, where I joined my dad in his business. All these experiences I had from Benin, Lagos, and Ibadan, I kind of take it over to the business, and the business was very successful. At the time, I was running with my daddy. That was the time I met Emma. So because of this feeling and this teaching I already had when I was in Ibadan, I kind of prophesied to Emma. No kidding. Don't I'm not a prophet. Don't need to call me tomorrow and say I should prophesy for you. That is not what I'm talking about. But because of the teaching I had when I was in Ibadan, I told Emma, listen, Emma, the way I see you, I honestly don't think you may likely end up in life as a furniture maker. I see great things. You're going to be a very great man. You're going to be this. You're going to be that. If you're a brother to Emma, you can ask him. I told him this. So that was why I said you asking that question was such a really deep question, because it's like you took it out of my mind.
He always had that belief. And because of that, he is very powerful. He is very, very kind. So because of this nature, I was with him. Even though I was a student and he was learning work, he never tell on him at all. We were together, we were sharing ideas together. Then he encouraged me to pursue my education, but he loved education, but because of financial constraint, he was not able to follow that education. That is why he learned this furniture. He learned furniture. Then when he started his shop, anytime I am coming from school, I will come to his shop. That time he was getting some money, some little money there from the shop. He would go and buy food. We will eat together, we will discuss together. I will tell him about school.
Oh yeah, I missed him a lot when he left the village because I was alone. So every Sunday I must make sure I went to him. I think he was on that was a road called Deeper Life. I think he was right. Yeah, that is where he had his apartment. I was going there every Sunday, and each time I went there, I must eat because now he's a bachelor. He knew how to cook and things like that. So when I'm hungry in the village, I'll just get on my dad machine. I go there, I eat, and stay there until he was able to afford a car. So when he had a car, when each time I went there, we went on the road, we were going from places to places.
And one thing that mostly really unite us together, I know the Bible very well. Anytime I come, he will ask me questions in the Bible. I will be explaining things to him in the Bible, how David killed Goliath, this and that. He loved to hear the word of God. I was always telling him the word of God. I would preach to him. I would tell him. He goes to church very well. So that cemented our relationship. And he is somebody that he has a great faith about tomorrow. That is why after some time, when he finished that his apprenticeship, he was not able to start on his own. Himself and Joe, they started together. But because of the desire for him to go to school, he still started the adult school and proceeded to the adult school. From there, he got his wife before he finally go to Ekpoma to get his BSc.
Most of the thing I said and I prophesied Emma was going to be is exactly where he is today. Most of the thing I prophesied all my life is where I am today. So, listen, I'm not advocating all those your religion Nigeria overdo fake pastor stuff. Nobody should call me and ask me to say something about, like I said again, I'm not a prophet. Don't bother you to call me. But if you are lucky to actually follow some of those deep Christian understanding, you will be able to understand life and you'll be able to shape your life from the words of your mouth. If you ever meet a man, ask him if I said those things when we were just struggling in Uromi. And here we are today. So these are the things I told them when we were growing up. And we're both doing well today. Glory be to God.
Human beings, it's like a tree. When a tree is growing, you see it's upright with the leaves and things like that. But when it starts growing bigger, you see one branches we go here, one branches we go to the other side. That is that is who human beings are. When we were growing up, we were single. we were just doing whatever we like. We go out in the morning, we come in the evening, we eat dinner. That's it. Until when we grew older, I left home, and Ima, he's there, doing everything he can to provide for his family. So our vision was that, we should be able to provide for our families that we cannot beg before we can put food on the table for our family. And I thank God that today, we have been able to achieve that.
It's good to have a vision, but how about making it come true? Living in Amedokya and Uromi is hard. There is no two ways about it. So, in a situation like that of Uromi, how do you work on your dream every day to make it a reality? Especially for a young man like he was, having to shoulder the greater part of his family's responsibility. This does not sound like an easy task. Don't you think the same way?
During the early age, when Emma was learning that funny job, Emma normally go to look for job, go to Ria, then he will go maybe, like I said, weekend, he don't go to work, he will go to Ria, secure a job, work, because he's very powerful. A lot of people will now tell him, oh, next tomorrow, try to come.
In my own case, I was kind of blessed from a childhood because I have a daddy who was doing well. I have a mother who was a very dynamic and a kind of in our community. Then I have an uncle who is in Benin who was doing very well. So everything was kind of arranged for me. I mean, when I say doing very well compared to the rest of my colleagues, So when I finished school in Uromi, I already had a place I could go and start working. Not everybody have that opportunity.
Honestly, Ima, as I said earlier, he's such a he's a philanthropist. Even when we were, when I said earlier that when I became an adult, that we were going out together, on many occasions, Ima would bring out money, even though it was not big, almost on daily basis, even though, his parents, were alive. All the responsibility, even at that time, while his parents, were alive, the responsibility of the family was on his shoulder. He will have to bring out money on daily basis. It doesn't matter whether it's big or small. He will have to bring out money. It could be 5 naira. It could be 10 naira.
Because equally, he is a very hardworking person. He don't always stay at home without going to his furniture work. It is when the time that is during that weekend that he normally go to that job, look for job, work, and get money again to finance himself. So that was how he was living. And myself too, I was not opportune to always go to job because my father was taking care of me.
As I said earlier, we went to always go to Akonje's farm to do some manual job, and we get paid. After that, when we return, guess what? Ima, if that one of those days were the days that we didn't have any appointment with Iho and things like that, Ima will have to go to work. Do you know what I mean? For somebody to go for a daily job, then when he returns, he will have to go to work where he was learning how to make furniture, things like that. So it was a big burden on him while your parents were alive. When they died, his burden, expanded. It became bigger.
Another good thing God blessed him with is Emma is the type that in every situation, he has an already made words to say. He will always encourage you if you are down to crack joke. If you are with him, you always laugh because he have the right words to tell you. So that make me equally to be very close to him because anytime you come to Emma, you will be very happy. He make you happy. And he was a hard-working type.
Did you know, even if I was doing well in my dad's business and the things were okay, there was never a time Emma ever asked me, Gordy, can you give me 5 naira? Gordy, can you give me this? Never. He go to his where he's doing his furniture business, and weekend if we meet, we have places to go. He just take care of himself, you know. So, but I knew that he was carrying a lot of responsibility from his family because the kind of background he came from, you know. And this guy would go to town maybe Monday to Friday. I wasn't following him to his workshop. I go to my business, he go to his business. We only meet later in the evening. Obviously, he was having some financial breakthrough in his place of work. So in that regard, he was able to take care of his bill and able to take care of himself and his siblings. So I honestly respect him for that because in my own case, though I may go and do some farming stuff, I basically give it to my mom. But in his case, he was taking care of almost all his family. And that was a really wonderful thing he was doing. And to carry that shoulder at such an early stage in life, that was remarkable, you know. So obviously he came with that kind of stress that he has to take care of his people.
Take care of his people. This is the point. Living a life of service is probably the best way to live, and not everyone is able to do this. This is also why we are talking about this great individual in our midst today. Life, like a human society, is like a man on a moving bicycle, and the only way to keep a balance is to keep moving. We must keep moving because we are all part of it, whether we know it or not. A couple of weeks ago, while refining this documentary series about the life and legacy of our eminent people who deserve to be celebrated, I interviewed the son of Chief Ojomo, Barrister Louis Ojomo. Listening to his story, I could feel the urgency and importance of telling more of these stories. Let me explain. I grew up in Amedokian, and like every other village in Uromi, I could see how we suffer from a lack of drinking water. Uromi is a plateau or an uplifted land, nearly 400 meters or 1,250 feet above sea level. For lack of running water, the people were left to create their own water pond, a kind of rudimental water reservoir to collect flood water during rainy season. Until Chief Ojomo, a kind-hearted and successful man from Amedokian, decided to dig a borehole in Ukbuke, and the water was free for everyone that could get there. Many people in Amedokian and beyond relied on the dirty water from their local water reservoir for almost everything. This is why we should talk about it. We all need to keep moving so that the bicycle can maintain a balance. Of course, this is 2022. You do not need to become Chief Ojomo to bring clean water to the Amedokian people of Uromi, but you can at least celebrate those individuals who have made enormous sacrifices for the good of their fellow men. I was in primary 2 when we lost our father, and with my immediate younger ones, we were pretty tiny and certainly would have had a different taste of life without the sacrifices of those who were ahead of us in the family. That is not an easy task and certainly cannot be underestimated by any measure.
I remember very well when your dad was sick, and as I said, we you know, when we say we are brothers, you know, when we say we are friends, it's another statement. We are actually brothers, because if we are doing anything in the family, if my family, those family members are not there, you know, it is not complete. And if your members of your families are not there, it is not complete. So I think it is fair to say we are brothers rather than friends. So when your dad was sick, they said that I think I can't remember his name, whether it was in Negbeje, I can't remember. Then they said he was living somewhere in Ubiaja or Dakwa, that we should go and call him, that if we return, maybe that your dad might be okay. Then we rode on a machine, my dad's motorcycle, we rode on it. Then we went there. We got there, we couldn't find him. We asked everybody, you know, they say they didn't know where he was. Wow, it was, so what could we do? We came back home. So as we were coming, we didn't take the tie road. We went through Ukoni. At the center of Ukoni, around Ukoni Primary School, where your sister, I think your sister was there, your brother's sister. So it was around there that we heard that your dad had passed away. Oh my God. Oh man, it's a day that I will never forget. That was when we came home, Imam was crying. I was afraid so that he don't fall off my machine. Because he was saying, oh, I cannot do it alone. I cannot do it alone. For you to know what he had on his shoulder. So he's such a nice guy. He went through a lot and he was able to, I'm glad that he was able to carry his family along until this moment that we speak.
There are people who actually realize that they are leader, natural leader. It's a kind of instinct. Once you are a leader, leadership is not a thing that is. There are people who are born with that quality of being a leader, and a man knew it right from the get-go. He knew it, even if he was not the firstborn of your mom, of your dad, he was the first son. And yet, in spite of that, he took the bull by the horn and actually believed he is going to lead the rest of his siblings. And he'll be doing it right from the get-go. So, what might have contributed for him doing stuff like that? Probably the way he was built. Because we cannot ignore the gift God can put on people. There are people with different kind of gifts. There are people with different kind of attributes. There are people with different kind of character. If you are lucky, you are blessed with that leadership quality. It's like if you are stuck with a group of people in an elevator now that may be taking you up or taking you down. Immediately the elevator got broken. There's somebody right there in midst of you right there who will be saying, hey, you do this, hey, you do this, hey, you do this. That person is just unconsciously doing that. It's not that he is interested in commanding. My senior brother have that kind of a gift. My senior brother, Honorable Etola, right from childhood, he's a kind of person that just have that sensitivity of giving people responsibility. You get that done. You do this. He organizes. He's a great organizer. There are people who are blessed with those kind of attributes. And Emma is one of them. He knew from the very beginning that he is a leader and he's going to start. Leadership start from the family. If you're going to lead, you have to start from your family. You don't lead from outside inside. You lead from inside outside. That's why you see people like Honorable and Honorable Tula and my friend, they are very successful because they understood that leadership quality that is in them right from the beginning. They are not shying away, they don't get intimidated by things around them. They just do what they have to do.
Well, he was the father and the mom, even though your mom was still alive at that time. Of course, women in the village, what do they have? They don't have anything. The only thing they have is to go to the farm and, how much can you really get from farm work? So even though your dad has passed away, your mom was still alive, the poor woman, what did she have? She didn't have nothing. So Imam was everything. You were there, God was there, Obemudia, famous, everybody. Imam was the breadwinner.
He told me as a friend how when he was growing up then before we met finally, that a time came he was not able to go to school. Your father, one of the uncle came from Ibadan and took him to Ibadan. He stayed with him, and that guy really maltreated him very, very, very well. And things were very rough with him. Even to give him enough food to eat was not possible. So with the tormentation that guy in Ibadan was giving to him, one of your relations called Ebikoye now came to Ibadan to take a man home, brought him from Ibadan. He told me the day he got home was the first day there he can eat and be satisfied. And after he finished eating, he writed home is home. Because that man really tormented him. He really suffered. But because of the help of that Ebikoye, he was able to leave Ibadan and come back home. And because of that, he really respected that woman till the day the woman died. And immediately, he now came back from Ibadan. Your father now took him to Mr. Okokuni to learn furniture. It was during this time that he was learning furniture that we knew very well. We become friends. And then he finally graduated from the furniture, and himself with Joe, they started with a shop outside the compound of Okakagbe at Ubiaja Road there. It was then our friendship, the intimacy was so tight. Because that time, I was free. Because my father, they trained us to, he doesn't allow us to go out. But this time now, he was in the town. I cannot go to the town. In the name that I'm going to the school, immediately I close from the school, I can go to him during weekend. So immediately I now started secondary school this time, the freedom was there. So that is where we become really tight friends that, in fact, our friendship, people think we are from the same parent.
There are people who are very good in athletics, or there are people who are good in talking. You don't necessarily have to go to somewhere, and of course it's good to enhance and to build on what you have already. But if you have it in you already, it's just a little bit of color, and you are up there. That is why people like myself, like if I have to refer him to again, if you bring him to a question to speak to people, you don't even need to start doing research from heaven to earth. Just give it the microphone. Everything you need to say will just be coming out naturally. But there are others who are not built like that. You have to respect that. There are others who don't have what you have. But there are every one of us, we all have stuff. In the case of a man that we are discussing, he is just naturally built like that. And he never shy away from that responsibility. And as a matter of fact, he's building on it on a daily basis.
Life is hard, and any person with a considerable amount of years in existence should know that. While we all need to rise by first raising our head to look ahead of us, none of us need to be great to start. You need to start where you are with what you have and aim for something significant in your life. That doesn't mean you would face challenges. Of course, you will face an abundance of it, and that is what really makes you shine at the end of the day. In fact, sacrifices like the obstacles on our path are placed there not to stop us, but for us to overcome. If there is one lesson therefore that we can get out of this video, it is the message that those who become great among us, no matter what that might mean to us, are not those who never face challenges, but those who have learned how to overcome them. Mr. Emmanuel, the man we are talking about in this video, had it all in the journey of life, but he did not stop at the challenges, and that is a clear message to take home.
That time it was not easy at all. Although he was in the town, he rented a room in the town. Things were very, very rough. I remember a particular day, as the rain fell, the wind carried our house. And the same day, the wind carried your house, Emma's house. I was the one that ran to the town. I told Emma, look, the wind carried our house, and the wind is equally carried your house. He didn't want to hear that. Immediately I said, he said, oh no, the wind carried our house. I would say, yes, it equally carried. He said, no, it carried our house. Then after, before I tell him, you look, listen, it is true. The wind carried our house. That is settled. Your house too, the wind equally carried it. Because it was a problem. How can we get the money to fix it? He was trying, but the mix, even to live a good life, was not there. No help. He was just struggling on his own.
His success is that he's a very hard-working somebody. He would do the best he can to stay away from trouble. All those times that I talked about earlier, there was never a day that a man engaged in altercation with somebody. There was never a day that we had an argument with someone. Even if you offend him, you say, okay, I'm sorry, he move on. And that is what everybody should do.
It was because there was no help. That is why he now went and joined with Joe to just start a shop. And if you get to the shop there, when they started the shop, it was only just this bench and the rest. They were not able to get all those chairs that they call full cover and the rest. No, because life was very, very difficult at that very time. But upon that, being that he's a visionary, somebody that have great faith in God, he never gave up. He always worked hard. Even those chairs they were having there, he told me one day that what happened is that if you see anybody coming, he would just pray to God, God, give me a word to tell this person. And really, because he had that gift of works, anybody he talked to will buy the chair from him.
You know, he had a lot of success. And his family, that he's able to keep them together, that is the greatest success that a man can achieve. You have married your wife, you raise your children with your wife. As you said earlier, you know, a man and a woman, that's what makes a family. And he's able to do that.
He started growing gradually. And today, God answered his prayer. So it wasn't easy. And it was when he was trying now, things were started working before he now bought a machine, a second-hand machine from Affiliate at Osuzu. So the time he bought that Osuzu, it was a great joy to us because we all now can now have machine to ride. And we were all happy. So that was how life started with us, and life started with him. So eventually, because of the love he has for people, he wants to share everybody's problem. And with the little he have, if you come, a man will make sure you eat. He will go and buy food. We will eat together. He will make on weekend. He normally make a melon soup. Because of that melon soup, we always go there. He will fry the melon soup. Only God knows how the thing is so much. So every weekend, we know that it's going to be melon soup that day.
I'm not talking about the thousands or the millions or the billions in the bank now. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about financial, financial progress now or financial materials. No, what I'm talking about right now is that he's able to put his family together. And honestly, if he's such a nice man. Let me just put it that way, because if nobody tells you that you people are not his biological children, you will not know. If nobody tells anybody that you are there, someone will think that they are you guys are his sons and daughters, because the way he unite all of you. That's what I'm trying to express. The way he unite everybody. You cannot tell who is his biological son or who is not. Everybody is the same. He treats everybody the same. He has helped almost everybody in the family. So I'm aware of this. He is such that he's able to do this with all his efforts. Honestly, it's amazing. I give him kudos for it.
I did say that we need to tell these stories. And this is not because we are trying to render a favor to Mr. Emmanuel Ewanfoh or any of the prominent individuals who have contributed to our lives in one way or the other. Not at all. In fact, I can understand that they probably don't even need this, but we do as a people. This is our story because we are all part of it and we are connected. You see, life is like a dancing masquerade. And because it's a constant dance on the stage, we sometimes do not get the picture clear enough. So we are all invited to make sense out of it based on our sense and sensibilities. Now, what sense do we make out of this story? The life of this ordinary Uromi and his man, who so refined himself to become an extraordinary personality of our time. Particularly for those younger generation from whom we are looking to become greater ambassadors of their time. What do they have to learn?
Number one, a man is, like I said before, is a man that believes, that have a great faith in God. He believes that everything is possible. You can become whatever you want to become. Despite that the poor beginning never have effect on a man. A man will always do the best every time, anytime. Emma is always very, very bold. He was very, very bold because he was powerful. He never allowed anybody to intimidate him. He never accepted it. He never, ever one day. He always go for whatever he needs. And he was very, very hardworking.
My message for them is that they should work hard. Work hard. Don't look at other people. Don't just sit back and say, I want to be like somebody else. No, that person's destiny is not your destiny. So work hard. You see, the problem we have these days is that, younger people, they don't want to work anymore. I said earlier that we were going to, we were doing manual job, 5 naira as at that time, and that 5 naira meant a lot to us. But I don't see, I left home, more than almost 2 decades ago. I don't know what is going on there. It's possible people don't do daily job anymore that we used to do. Now, you figure that, wealth that one is supposed to acquire at 50, 60, all these younger people, they want it at 15, 20 years old. And that is why we have a lot of chaos now back home. They will go and put their hands in what, they are not supposed to. They will get the wealth. After a year or two, they die. That is not how the world works. You work for it. You work hard. When you work hard, thief will definitely come to pass for you. It will materialize. But when you want the wealth, as I said earlier, what you are supposed to acquire at 50, 60, you want it at 20, you want to buy a Mercedes Benz at 20, it is not going to work. That is how the world works. Work hard and pray to God. When your time comes, you will reap the good thing that you have planted. You reap the good fruit that you have planted.
You see, most of the character people exhibit when they grow up, they kind of take it, they kind of learned it when they were growing up. And I know I can testify to that. Emma was the kind of person who was not always complaining or grumbling or lamenting about the weight of the stress he's going through in his family. It was a kind of a guy who liked to even bear responsibility and take challenges with shoulder high. I respect people like that. I really do.
Emma is somebody that have a very greater love for everybody. That is one good quality that helped him so much. He loved everybody. And despite that he don't have, the little he have, he want to share it. And he always share it. And because of his generosity, the way he gives, he has so many friends. Anywhere Emma gets to, people always love him. Because one, when he talk, you will like the words. He have the gift of words. And I think that is from God. The gift of words. He know what to tell you. Every time Emma speak, you will like it. You will be happy. He know how to crack jokes so much. And that is one thing that I emulate so much in him. He knows what to tell you. Anybody that comes, he knows the classes of people, the words to tell you at the right time. And you will feel happy and you will like to associate with him because of the words he speaks. He's hardworking. He's so generous. And again, he's the faithful type. Emma is very, very humble from the beginning. He is never proud. And that is why he never do what he cannot achieve. When he want to, people were buying new machine and the rest, but when he wanted to start, he started with his second hand because that was what he can afford that very time. So the example I would tell people is, learn to trust God and hard work. Learn to live an exemplary life. Learn to live for people, like the way Emma lived. Emma lived for everybody around him. Emma want to make sure everybody around him is happy. Emma want to share from your problem. And upon all this, Emma is very focused. He's determined against tomorrow. Even when today, things look not working out, he is so faithful, he so have that great faith that tomorrow will work out. He is very, very hardworking. And when I was growing up again with him, because I was very close to him, I noticed one quality, very good quality in him. Emma do not play friendship with business. When it is time for business, Emma keep friendship aside. He doesn't play friendship with his business. And I think that is one of the things that really make him to be very, very successful. So like what I would tell the young generation of today, where you are coming from, doesn't matter, although it can contribute to your success. But like Emma did not get any help from anywhere apart from Mr. Kokoni that teaching her to do furniture. But with the help of God and determination, that is, Emma was able to make it to the position he is today. He had that great faith. He is hardworking. He is so sincere to everybody. Even the little he have, he is generous. He give it to everybody around him. He know how to manage himself. Then the blessing of God came upon him today. So any man that can still be hardworking, you are faithful, you focus on tomorrow, I think the way God bless a man, God will fully bless that person.
The saying has it that behind every successful man is a woman. And this I can attest to in the life of my eldest brother, Mr. Emmanuel Ewanfoh. Life is not always easy, and it has never been. In the words of Lucius Seneca, the Roman philosopher, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. No man who is true of age can contest the words of Seneca, but every man who lives with a good woman will always have a great story to tell. Even at the level of simplistic biology and the circle of life, every man came from a woman, and a woman can destroy even the strongest man in the world. Although we might not say so all the time, the power of women is what really makes this world turn around. So to Mrs. Gloria Ewanfoh, we say thank you for being the first and a great woman in the Ewanfoh family.
You see, Emmanuel's wife happened to be a distant relative of mine. So if I'm going to be singing her praises now, people may say because she's kind of related to me. That's what I'm saying. It's not the truth. I'm just going to be very honest because I pay my bill. I don't need to please anybody to be what I am. You see, that is that woman. I think 2000. When was the first time I met her with Emma? Was it we were living in a deeper Palace Road? Not the first house they were living, the second house. Was it 2005 or so when I visited Nigeria? That was when I met her for the first time. And obviously, Emma have told her a lot about me. That was the very moment I knew Emma needs a woman like this.
Emma, as a friend and as a brother, you cannot say everything about a man or conclude it without mentioning Emma's wife, Mrs. Gloria Emma Ewanfoh. I was with Emma as a friend when Emma married Gloria. They came together as friends before eventually they married. It is another person God sent to Emma's life that really cemented the friendship of Emma. There are so many people you are friends with. Immediately they married, their wife will separate the friendship. But Emma's wife is never like that. He encouraged the friendship.
So men, be who we are just like a hunter or like a lion, whatever the case may be. You go and do your thing. You need to come back home and have a peace of mind. You don't need a woman to stress you, a woman to rain insult and abuse on you. Hey, I heard you went here. Hey, I heard you did this. Hey, I heard you did. No, she's not a type. She's very respectful. She's very obedient. She's very cooperative to her husband. You need that. You need a home front that will be very, very supportive of you. See, every family need to have that. If you, no matter whatever happen at home or outside rather, and you need somebody at home to spread her wing and cover up for you and be there for you in time of crisis. When every other 40 people are gone, he or she can actually call you to the corner and give you correction. Not somebody you coming home after all day long work is telling, hey, I heard you did this, hey, I heard you did that. Oh, your name will break down as a man, no matter how strong you are. That woman has been a cornerstone to a man's success. I have to tell you that.
Oh, his wife is a very, very, very humble woman. I remember when I was in Lagos, each time I came home, she'll be, cooking, running here and there. Someone that is very, very respectful. And I was there, when those days when Favor was born. So she's such a nice woman. And now, if you tell her stay here, honestly, if you come tomorrow, where you ask her to stay, that is where you are going to meet her. That is who she is.
I remember when I was still going to school, I would come weekend, he will run home, make sure he make food for me. There are some times I will not give, there is no phone, I don't give them notice. At times I will see the way things are in the school, I will just, maybe the next lecturer will not come, I will just take a bike and come to Uromi. I'm coming, and it's late. At times I will meet them, they have almost prepared the food. That woman will stay hunger and give me her food. And go and sew Gary. The food he has prepared for the two of them, me and Emma will eat the food. The woman was. I remember there was one friend that was having his name was Christopher, although it's a very long we have not seen. He was my course mate in 300 level accounting from Uboha. I always give my Emma's address to them. Being a student, we are together at Epuma. When he got to Uromi, he now went to Emma's house to look for me at Deeper Life Road. As he got there, I was not yet around, but Emma's wife knew that very soon I will come with the husband. He knows the time will come. He asked the guy to sit down and wait for me. He quickly rushed to the kitchen, make pounded yam, and bring it before Christopher. Being a student, we don't eat pounded yam in the school, and that guy is from Uwa. The guy ate pounded yam before we came. Till we graduated, he always asked me, oh, God will bless him. Said, do you know I was really hungry? And you are not yet around. I remind you, Christopher was my friend, not Emma's friend. But because I am a brother and a friend to Emma, and Christopher is looking for me, Gloria, Emma's wife, took great care of that guy. Till we graduated, Christopher never forget that day. And that has been the nature of Emma's wife. He accommodates all Emma's friends. He receives us as she is even our wife. And that equally contributed to me, the success of our friendship with Emma and Emma's general success. The woman is hardworking, is up to do, he is obedient, he listens when you talk to her. So, Gloria, I would say God will bless you. You will eat the fruit of your labor. You make our friendship and our brotherhood with Emma to be successful. You never discriminate us. You never disobeyed us. You accepted us the way you accepted Emma. You have been a good wife to Emma and to every one of us. You make our friendship with Emma to be perfect. May God bless you.
She's very respectful, very nice, always smiling. And I don't know where she got that from. And it's a good thing. Always smiling. Always smiling. Very respectful woman. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is all you hear her say. Yes, sir. So I'm glad that, she's the type of wife that Emma has.
When it comes to about prayer, you have to spend the time with them and hear how she prays. Not this fake prayer people are doing these days. I was in Nigeria one time, which year was that? 2014, I guess. And I don't know what brought me to a man's place. And I heard this woman pray. My God, I was moved, You could hear the sincerity and the in-depth of her prayer. Pray for everyone in her household, in her community, everyone connected to her life. She was praying for all of them. That is for you to know the soul and the strength of a woman. She's a very hardworking person, The other time, a man traveled not long ago, and I wanted to get in touch with him. I couldn't. I called the wife. Immediately, she gave me all the information that I need. You need somebody like that to succeed in life. You don't need somebody who is acting like a zombie, who doesn't even know her right from her left. It makes it very difficult. So that woman is a pillar. There's no doubt about it. And I know Emmanuel is respecting her because of what she's able to contribute. When you consider the standard and the strength of a man, like in our local people in those days, a man has the possibility to do whatever he wants to do. But he doesn't do that because of his respect for his wife. And because of that, the wife have a peace of mind. She have a good time of her life. I'm happy for her. So she's definitely a pillar in a man's journey of life. There's no doubt about that. The kind of person you leave home. You don't have to panic if you know how to make decisions. You don't have to worry if you know what to do because she's highly equipped. She knows every nook and corner of how to handle life. And she said, is a woman to the core. Toro is a woman. That is so important. Not just these days women who doesn't even know what they are. No. She knows the rules. She knows the regulations.
These three men now living on different continents of the world, all talking about one person, should say something about us: friendship. And I'm sure you can understand why the friends who are talking here today are some of the very few ones who knew my eldest brother while he was still a young man without the affluence and success he has today. One person, I don't remember his name now, once said, and I quote, "A friend who understands your tears is much more valuable than a lot of friends who only know your smile." So this story is also about friendship. And what would your friends be free to say about you, knowing that their lives do not depend on you?
Friendship, actually, that mutual respect we have for each other is a thing you cannot buy in any supermarket. You know, a man have enormous respect for me right from the very beginning. And obviously, I have respect for him. And I know what a man have done for me on my behalf. That was why when I started this conversation, remember I said you have to be very blessed if you have healthy children at home and a very good friend you can depend on. If you could recall how I started this conversation, that is exactly where our friendship is. And no more respect for each other. You know, of course, we have some minor challenges sometimes, but we don't overdo it to such an extent that we go to a place of no recall. We don't do it. We have respect for each other. And today, if I have to tell a man what we should do, we keep on respecting each other, we keep on enhancing each other, we keep on advancing each other. Because there are times in life a crisis will come to you. No, it may not necessarily be a crisis, maybe a good fortune come to you. No single person is an island of wisdom. There are friends you may call. They know fully well if you go right hand side, you are going to a ditch. They will tell you, bro, go to this side. I know this will lead to a place of comfort. But inside of there, they know very well that place they advise you to go will not go well. But a man is not the type. A man is a kind of friend I can call in days of goodies, or days of whatever case may be, if you want to call it crisis. I ask Emma, how do we handle this matter? Even if I live in Switzerland, I don't say because I'm now living in Switzerland for all these over 30 years and I have all the wisdom in the world. No. A man, likewise, if you have issues, he call me. He said, Godi, what's your opinion? That's what I call respect. It's a friend I can also trust. If a man tell me this is red, I don't have to think about it twice. That is this actually red? There are friends who I know deep down in my mind, if they tell me this is black, I should be thinking it's probably white. Because I don't know if they are built like that to just have that kind of spirit inside of them to take joy for the downfall of others. There are people who just they don't want to see you succeed in life. And I don't know why they have that kind of mindset. It's a thing I don't know why. Maybe the circumstances or the life, the way they grew up, might have led them to start taking like that. But that is exactly why. So that's the reason why my friendship and Emma have lasted to this day. Because if Emma tells me it's right, I know it's right. If I tell him it's right, he knows it's right. Because I have nothing to gain by trying to deceive him. So we're going to continue on that path.
Like, I will really thank him so much because Emma has a lot of friends, but I think I am exceptional. From the very day I know him, there is no battle we fight together that I have not succeeded. Anything I want to do, if a man is involved, the moment he agrees with me, he is involved, I know I'm going to win that battle. Anything at all. When he don't associate with me, and he said, no, I have no hand in this thing, oh, it is then I am afraid. But anytime at all, whatever thing I lay hand upon and I involve in man, and a man take part of it, I'm always happy because success is in it. Why? A man will put his own energy. In fact, I don't really know how to thank him enough. I remember there was a day they told me my father was not well. I only called him. Emma was still sleeping. Before the next 20 minutes, my father is already in the hospital. So I don't really, how many will I be able to say?
One thing that I just came to my mind that I have to say real quick is that I remember when I visited home from Lagos at that time, and when someone dies, we have to do the traditional rite and all that to avoid evil spirits, and you know what it is. So I think at that time there was something that there was this man behind our house called Obinagbo. So I think they still have they needed some money to buy he goat at that time. I can't remember exactly. When I visited, each time I visit, we have to stay with him, in the town. Then in the morning, we go to the village. So when we went to the village, it was my present that Imam brought her. I think it was 5,000 naira because that time 5,000 naira was it's like a million of today. So Imam gave. It's possible Imam have forgotten. Imam gave that woman 5,000 naira. In my dad's parlor or sitting room, for them to buy that goat to be able to do the ritual so that she can move on with her life. So what I'm trying to say is that this is who Imam has always been.
There is nothing as good as having a friend that you can actually trust. The bottom line is trust. Trust is not half trust. Trust is if he tell you he's coming, he's coming. If he tell you it's A, it's A. If he tell you it's B, it's B. You don't have to have double mind. That is so very, very vital. And a man is a guy, is a friend I can actually depend on that. If I could quickly achieve this in a very important decision in regard to the wife that I have at home today. I know the contribution a man made before I was able to marry the woman I have that is giving me peace and beautiful children that I'm having today. I came to Nigeria, I have options everywhere. I was even confused. A man, be who he is as a man with great knowledge, he started to say, God, go to this direction. This direction will go well for you. I said, are you sure? He said, yes, go to this direction. And that's exactly I did not doubt him because I know if he advised me, he doesn't have a hidden agenda. And it turned out to be a great advice today. You see, did you know how important to have? Wife is probably one of the most important decisions you have to make in life. Because if you marry a devil, if you marry a scorpion, she could swallow you. I'm not joking. A wife has the potential to ruin your life if you make a wrong mistake, marry a wrong person. But if you are lucky to marry a good person, you see, your life will just no element, no demon can stop your progress. You see, here we are up we go, not to stop us. That's what friendship is about.
Emma have been a brother to me, not a friend. So many a time, even when my sister was equally sick, he was at Ekpoma, going to Ekpoma. When they called me, I just called Emma, where are you now? He said he's on the road going to Ekpoma. They said my sister is sick. Oh. He said, okay, let me return. He did a U-turn on the road. Where he was going, he couldn't go. I cannot mention any, that is, what will I remember? If I want to continue to say it on my path, So Emma really is not only a friend, Emma is a brother. And that is why when we were growing up, it has been like that from the time we were coming up together. He is so sincere. Is it when I want to build my house? He will even finish everything. If I'm not able to meet up, then he will tell me, look, see, before I will meet up. So what I would really want to tell him is, I really want to thank him for his generosity, his kindness. I'm not surprised he is where he is today because he worked really hard. Emma is a lover of everybody. He wants everybody to be well. If he knows one thing, he will bring you in. If that thing is profitable, Emma will make sure he bring you in so that thing you will share of the profit. If he discovers there is another bad side of it, he will equally come and tell you, look, oh, see what I suffer. I don't want you to suffer this thing. He's not the type that is rejoicing at the calamity of others. No. A man never wants to see the downfall of anybody. He always wants to see everybody rising. But the only thing he will not take from you, he will never allow you to mess him up. And that I love in him. He's very, very bold. He don't allow you, whoever you are. No. A man will not take it from you. Even when we were together at the early beginning. So I really want to thank him because Emma is a brother, is a father, is everything, especially to me. I don't know how to really, words to use on him. He has been such a nice person. And I think the way he is to me, that is the same way he is to so many people. In fact, we thank God that he is a blessing to us at home. He has been a pillar and he's still a pillar to us. He's our eye at home there. And God has been helping him and helping us all. And we give thanks to God. I give thanks to God always for having a person like a man standing for us anytime we call upon him.
Even though I was in Lagos at that time, each time I visited, a man who is in the village will give me money when I'm going back to Lagos. He will not say, oh, Lagos, you are in Lagos, you are in the city, that I should have all the money. No, he will give me money. And when I won the visa lottery that I'm in the States today, it was the only man that had to travel all the way from Uromi to Lagos. He brought some money for me. The only person, the only one who contributed to my coming here to America, he gave me some money at that time, and it was a lot. So that's to tell you who he is. That's to tell you how philanthropist he is.
If I may add anything, when I started this postcard, I told people if you are lucky to have a good friend, let whoever may listen to this postcard check around his friends and I check around his people around and find out who among them they should always trust. Somebody they can call on any time of the day. When you say any time, we actually mean any time. It can even be 2 o'clock in the middle of the night. If I have an issue, I can call him. Even if he's sleeping, I will ask him to wake up. I have an issue in my hand. He is going to wake up and answer me. So whoever is listening to this podcast, please find a friend that respects you. Find a friend that both of you give each other good advice. Not a friend who will take advantage of you because you are here today or because you are not useful today. He discards you. That is not friendship. A friend will be for you when you are doing well financially or when you are nowhere to be found. The villa, the house I call my own today in Uromi, people at least honor me, was built on my behalf before I got home. My man have already used part of his money to fix the house. On my behalf, I didn't even say him the money. He used his own money. I mean, what else can I ask?
Is it in the aspect of my mother? Every area of when a man is at home, because of the man today, I don't have any problem at home. Whatever it is my problem at home, a man, he don't even consult me before he take care of them. And that is what he do to so many people. I pray that God will bless him and everything will be all right with him and he will live long. He is just coming. God will bless him more. And every plans of the enemy against him, it will not prosper in Jesus' name.
Someone who does right, if you do something right, people pray for you. I mean, that prayer will definitely come to pass in your life. And if you are a crooked human being, someone who you see black and you call it white, when people curse you, definitely it will come to pass. So the good things that a man has always done, my message for him is that he should continue.
I'm a lucky guy to have friends like that. And I advise whoever is listening to the postcard to look around. But it's always on both sides because if the current is flowing to one direction, it cannot go crash. So it has to be both sides. I trust him, he trusts me. I give him good advice, he give me good advice. I believe in him, he believes in me. That is how it works. It's not only one way traffic. It will never work like that. So it's give and take, give and take.
A man is someone who is always giving. My message for him is that he should continue that way because it's not something that you will give someone that will make you not to be rich.
My intention here is not to say that everyone can become like Mr. Emmanuel Ewanfoh. You don't have to. You only need to ask yourself, what is your mission here? And it has nothing to do with how rich, powerful, or intelligent you are. Whatever your natural inclination is, there is something you can do and do better than anyone else around you. Yes, the other video that will follow in this series of life and legacy are going to feature some of the most prominent and great sons and daughters in Islam and beyond. But you don't need to be like any of them. You just need to be the best of yourself so you can fulfill your purpose of being here. As the saying goes, when the gods sent a blind man to the battle, his blindness is already accounted for. So go to the battle and win as the blind men do.